Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen a scooter so futuristic it made your neighbor's sedan look like a butter churn on wheels? One that looked like it just taxied in from a 1940s airbase runway and had the confidence of a vacuum salesman at a nudist colony? Well, strap in, because today on Timmy Tiny Wheels, we're taking a ride aboard the 1946 Salsbury Model 85 Imperial, also known as the Imperial rocket. And no, I'm not making that up. It's the scooter that tried to be a car, looked like a spaceship, and handled like a hammock full of bowling balls. But before we twist the throttle on this chrome-trimmed miracle of mid-century optimism, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button like you're stomping on the Salsbury's gas pedal, which, yes, it actually had. No hand levers here, folks. This scooter was all about foot control and aerodynamic ambition. Let's rewind to America in 1946. Car factories were still brushing off the wartime dust, and civilians were desperate for any kind of motorized transport that didn't involve hay or hoofbeats. Into this hunger for horsepower rode Esley Foster Salsbury, a man who thought scooters could be more than two-wheeled afterthoughts. His Pomona-based company, Salsbury Motors, had already been dabbling in scooters since the 1930s, but it was post-war optimism and a brief acquisition by Northrop Aircraft that gave birth to the Model 85. Now here's where it gets spicy. Northrop, yes, the airplane guys had dreams of building a vehicle for non-riders. Their pitch? A fully automatic pedal-operated scooter with no greasy levers, no confusing gears, and a body so streamlined it made your uncle's Buick look like a brick. It was the most completely automatic vehicle ever built. Designed for people who didn't think of themselves as bikers, but still wanted to zip to the grocery store without ruining their slacks. And frankly, I think they were onto something. Foster Salsbury wasn't just a pitchman, he held the patents too. Multiple ones, in fact, covering his continuously variable transmission CVT and automatic clutch system. This wasn't a gimmick, it was serious engineering. Production of the Model 85 began in 1946 under watchful wing, with the initial run focused on aircraft-grade precision and enclosed bodywork that wouldn't be out of place in a Raymond Loewy sketchbook. But by 1948, the dream was dimming. Car production had roared back, people were trading up, and the Model 85 found itself looking like yesterday's future. Still, around 1,000 of these streamliners rolled off the line between 1946 and 1950, most during the peak Northrop years. Today, only a few dozen survivors are known, scattered across museums and private garages, often owned by folks who also collect jukeboxes and vinyl lounge chairs. Respect. Let's get into the greasy bits, shall we? Underneath that sleek steel shell was a 320 cubic centimeter fan-cooled four-stroke side-valve single-cylinder engine, lovingly called the Salsbury Model 600. Rated at a modest 6 horsepower, it was kick-started and centrally mounted beneath the body, delivering smooth and whisper-quiet power to the rear wheel. No clutch pulling, no throttle twisting, just a foot pedal on the right to go and one on the left to stop. That engine drove a CVT, yes? A torque converter style, continuously variable transmission connected to variable sheave pulleys and a centrifugal clutch. You could almost hear the ghost of Henry Ford blinking in disbelief. The entire drivetrain was covered by Salsbury's suite of patents, including numbers 2293 and 2275,046, which you could read at night if you hated sleeping. Suspension was as quirky as the rest of the scooter. The front used a single-sided fork built into an elongated steering head, packed with dual-rate springs. The rear? Also a single-sided swing arm with a lone coil spring. Braking was minimal. One internal expanding drum brake on the rear wheel, and that's it. No front brake on most models. Wheels were 8 inches in diameter steel, multi-piece, and mounted with plump 4.00 section tires. The body was a fully enclosed steel fuselage, complete with fared-in wheels, chromed bumpers, and a rear trunk about the size of a mini fridge drawer, roughly 1.5 cubic feet. Oh, and just for laughs, the gas tank was mounted inside the trunk lid. That's right, to fill it up, you opened the back and hoped you didn't own a matchbook. Top speed was reportedly around 50 miles per hour, about 80 kilometers per hour, and the fuel economy was a staggering 65 to 85 miles per gallon. That's either a brilliant engineering feat or a reason the brakes didn't need to be better. Either way, it was perfect for zipping around post-war suburbia while feeling like you were piloting a Buck Rogers prop. Now let's talk about design, and I don't mean just, it looks like a scooter from a Flash Gordon movie. The Model 85 Imperial was a rolling contradiction. A vehicle that looked faster than it was, sounded quieter than it should, and had more curves than a roller rink in Miami. It didn't scream scooter. It whispered aeronautical daydream. I believe the single most jaw-dropping thing was that fully enclosed steel body. Not plastic, not tin. Actual aircraft-style stamped steel panels, faired-in wheels, sweeping lines, and chrome bumpers like a shrunken Hudson. Even the rear fender was more elegant than half the sedans on the road. Its visual philosophy was pure optimism. No gears, no mess, no nonsense. You wore a tie? Great. No oil on it? You liked carrying groceries? Perfect. Pop open the trunk without ever smelling a chain. You wanted to feel like a pilot while grocery shopping? Well, friend, you were in the right place. Market-wise, this thing was a paradox. In 1946 to 1948, it sold for around $800. A hefty price for a scooter. That's roughly $11,600 or around 10,800 euros in today's terms. It was cheaper than a car, but more expensive than the average two-wheeler. It targeted an in-between crowd, city commuters, suburbanites, and war veterans looking for practical fun with fewer levers to pull. But once Detroit got back on its four-wheeled feet, demand for scooters faded and production dwindled. Most Model 85s were gone before people figured out where to put gas in the trunk. Today, the Salsbury's reputation has done a full loop-de-loop. A high watermark sale happened in November 2021 on Bring a Trailer, where a 1947 Model 85 with a swapped Honda 270 engine went for $24,000. Purists clutched their pearls, but hey, market's gonna market. Another solid result came from Meekum's 2023 John Parham Estate Collection auction, where a well-preserved example fetched $18,500. Correct. Original spec scooters have traded hands for $6,600 to $8,500 in recent years, and the average recorded value on Classic.com hovers around $11,700. And let's be clear, that's for a scooter, not a Corvette, not a Caddy. A scooter that looks like a torpedo in loafers. And here's a final nugget of wisdom from your scooter-obsessed pal Timmy. If someone tells you nobody needs that, just smile and remember the Model 85, because everything that ever changed the world once looked unnecessary to someone sitting on a porch yelling at clouds. So go on, dream weird, shift never, and if your gas tank is in the trunk, you're probably doing something right.